were born before the wind, also younger than the sun. Yeah, the bonnie boat was one as we sail into the mystic.
Welcome to 3, the most innovative metaphysical program ever created. Join Chris, Rainey, and Mona as these amazing intuitives provide you with a three-dimensional divination into your most important questions. Now, from Las Vegas, the entertainment capital of the world, enjoy 3 with our hostess, Mona Van Joseph.
Welcome again to another broadcast of 3 Vegas. I'm here with the talented Chris Gray, our master astrologer, Rainy Day, our clairvoyant medium, and me, I'm an intuitive tarot consultant. And this is the only program ever to have 3 amazing intuitives, and I'm speaking for present company, to actually address your specific question. So the way the program works is that you go on to www.three.vegas and you go to how to be on 3, and then you fill out the form that page will take you to, and then that comes to us, and then we're all about setting you up to be on the program. Now, the programs are recorded live, and while we actually wait to put them on the air, your program is live. We don't edit a thing from the program. So this is not like a reality show where there's any kind of script, or we've set up people, we tried to set up people to cry or anything like that. That's not how this program works. This program is all about sincerely, collaboratively, compassionately addressing your question. So today we have an amazing caller, and what's going to happen is when we get our caller on the air, we're going to ask her which reader she wants to have answer her question first. And then each of us will spend 5 uninterrupted minutes with the question. And after that, we're going to collaborate and basically bounce off each other what our impressions are about all 3 of the readings. And we're going to ask for feedback from our caller. And then we end the program. And then we're back for another episode. So we're going to go right to a break right now. We'll be back in just a minute.
Tip.
And we're back. We have our caller, Tammy, in our little StreamYard green room. Hi, Tammy. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you, ladies?
Awesome. Nice to see you. So the way it's going to work is you're going to choose which reader that you would like to have address your question first. And then as soon as you choose the reader, we'd like you to ask your question. So who would you like to have address your question first?
Chris.
Okay, got it. All right. And what is your question?
My question is, I have been working over the last several months to set up boundaries in certain relationships. I'm wanting to know if I'm on the right path with that.
Awesome. That's a great question. All right, Chris, take it away.
Yes, because
Okay.
I already picked up on that on your chart, in your chart. So you, Tammy, you're a Libra rising. Okay. And that your Libra rising is based upon your birthday and time and location. It's very specific to you. And so your rising sign dictates your entire chart, the direction of your entire chart, but also who you are at your core and who what you project to the world. And so right now we have a series of eclipses going on, and it's in the Aries Libra series of eclipses. And so it started about last March or April of 2023, and it will continue until April of next year. And the series falls in your first house of self and your 7th house of relationships. Now, this can be romantic, this can be business, this can be even long-term friendships, but it's mostly any type of committed relationship or partnership.
Okay.
And so this is a very, very important transit for you, because what it's going to teach you is that balance between yourself, having boundaries, because with Libra, sometimes we struggle with setting boundaries because we're so giving and we're so selfless. And so sometimes we have trouble kind of putting boundaries in place. And so it's really important as a Libra rising to keep that balance in your relationships. So over the course of the next year, you're going to learn how to assert yourself, where you can maintain the balance between your relationships. With that, what that means is that you're probably going to sever some relationships. You're probably going to decide, hey, this is not working for me. This relationship no longer serves me. It's not for my highest good. And also with this, while you're evaluating and just reviewing your relationships, it's really going to be, you're going to have these epiphanies where you're going to realize, I give a lot and I'm not getting that back. And so that is a huge theme for you. It started your early degree Libra rising. So this actually started probably around end of March or April of 2023.
Okay.
The last time we had this series, Aries Libra eclipses, was back in 2013 through early 2014, or excuse me, 2015. The difference between that series of eclipses and this one is that one was lunar eclipses. So most of them were lunar eclipses. And what that means is that a lot of your relationships were culminating or coming to an end. Lunar eclipses are like full moons on steroids, and full moons represent resolutions, culminations, and even endings. But not every ending is bad. That's just a new beginning. So you would have saw like end of cycle. So what I love so much about the series of eclipses now is that most of them are all solar eclipses. So your full solar eclipses are new beginnings because they're new moons on steroids. And so for the next year, you're going to experience so many new beginnings and doors opening because you're evaluating these relationships, these friendships, these partnerships. And by choosing to let go of some of them, you're making room for new opportunities and new beginnings to come. And so this is going to be a really powerful time for you. And I'm excited to see where it leads you. I would love to hear from you, like here in the next year. Please, I would love some follow-up.
What is her sun sign?
She's a Virgo.
Oh, with a Libra rising.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hope in your message. I love that.
Yeah. She also has a phenomenal birth chart too. I'm going to add to that too. You have this grand trine in your birth chart. Grand trine, they're fairly rare. I mean, they're pretty rare. I see I see maybe 10% of birth charts. Wow. And what they are is they're the luckiest aspect you can have in your birth chart. And so it talks about this one in particular falls in your first house of self with your Libra rising. And it touches down to your fifth house of self-expression, passion, creativity, and then it goes up to your spirituality too. So you have like this ease about you to integrate with who you are and your belief system and follow your passion. So if you haven't followed a passion connected to spirituality, you definitely could tap into that, and it would be something that would be very transformative, and you would feel you would receive healing from it. And you would also you have this other placement that talks about your north node, which in your north node represents your fullest potential, your highest potential in this lifetime, and like what you're supposed to achieve. And sometimes that can be uncomfortable. However, it's beautifully aspected here in your grand trine, which means you achieve that very effortlessly.
Wow.
Thank you.
That's beautiful.
I like your little PS there.
What's that? Oh, yeah.
That was beautiful.
By the way,
But
I
I
should
think that
mention this grand trine.
that's incredible. I
know.
had never heard. I mean, you are this beautiful diamond, anyways. But that's beautiful.
So who would you like to have address your question next?
Rainy.
Okay, you got it. Go, girl.
So, my darling, this is all about life lessons. This is a repeated life lesson that you've carried through a couple of past lifetimes that you still haven't kind of learned because you're out of balance. I feel you're out of balance. And this is kind of the root of the dis-ease that's within your physical form. Your physical form is reflective of these difficult boundaries. It's very hard for you to draw that line in the sand. Would that be a fair statement?
Yes.
It's making you sick. This really
Yes.
is the root of everything that you are experiencing health-wise right now. There's a wonderful book that I would love for you to get on Amazon. It's called Working with the Law by Raymond Hollowell.
Okay.
It's on my Instagram page at Rainy Day Psychic Medium. You can find it there.
Okay.
This is the original. You've heard of the movie, the book called The Secret. This is the original Secret, written way back early 60s. Now, he says a lot about God, and I don't want that to deter you because when I say the word God, it's just a form of reference of that higher power. But it will help you recognize some of these life lessons that are going to be very difficult for you to navigate through. I almost feel like I'm walking on hot coals. John and I were just talking about hot coal walking and Tony Robbins walking. That's literally what you're doing. You're doing the walk of the hot coals. And you have to really go up to your higher consciousness where the seat of your soul resides, your higher self. Your higher self never distracts you, never lies to you, always keeps you on your perfect path. This is really hard for you, would you say?
Yes.
I also want to let you know that your grandmother is okay with you not being there. You
Okay.
feel a little bit of, I guess, sorrow, and like I think you really felt like you should be there, but you knew you shouldn't be there. Do you understand
Right.
that?
Yes.
And you made the right decision. Now people are going to judge you for that. Please don't. She doesn't. And in the afterlife, they look at things differently. And I know she just recently transitioned, but she transitioned very, very quickly and peacefully. Her soul actually left her body. I believe it started 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And I've always believed on Tuesday. I think that was kind of like the moment where she's like, okay, I've made this decision to depart this human form because I know that on the other side, I have people waiting for me. I also feel like she kept looking up, like I see people that I
Right.
recognize. She was very, very frightened to make this transition. That's why she kept showing me, somebody please hold on to my hand. Please don't let go. Please don't let go, because there was some fear involved. But I have to tell you, towards the end, there was communication for people that have
Yes.
already transitioned. Yes, you understand this,
Yes.
to the
Yeah,
other
because she was
side.
talking about it.
Oh, she was, because
She
I
was,
feel like
yes.
literally she's looking up and people are like, what is she looking at? What's
Yeah, no, I
happening?
knew exactly what she was doing.
Right, because honey, you're gifted too. You could be a medium very easily, but I think like Chris said, you have these life lessons. Girl, it's time to learn them.
Yes,
It's
it
time to
is.
just not, because we don't want to carry this. You're gonna go through other lifetimes, and we don't want you to, we meaning spirit, we don't want you to carry this baggage with
Right.
you into the next life, because the next life looks much easier and more effortless and more joyful. So learn the lesson now, and that book will help you reprogram your mind, body, and spirit so they become one, and this dis-ease doesn't root, and it kind of start letting go and getting out of your system. And I wish you well. You have like I see 2026 for some reason as being your year. God bless you. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Thank you.
All right. Well, this is going to be fun.
Dun dun
Dun, dun, dun.
dun.
Okay, so you're hearing me clear the cards real quick. And
Right.
then what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay out the whole deck. And then I'm going to draw your 5 cards. So your 5 cards, I'm drawing them right now. Setting those aside because they don't count today. Oh, wow. So people have underestimated you your whole life. And you have the most powerful card in the whole deck. Excuse me, I have a tickle. Okay. The most powerful card in the whole deck is this card called Completion. So it's the most powerful card in your 5 card spread here. I am going to agree with Rainey with a particular thing that she said but I'm going to change the wording to you are a natural intuitive, and you can look at someone and know right away if they're the real deal or full of crap as soon as you meet them. You can smell a rat from a mile away. Now, whatever
Yes.
you've done for your career, you're amazing at it. So people seek you out for learning, education, guidance, training. And if I could actually, if you were going to change careers and do something different, my thought would be that you would go into human resources or recruiting, because your instincts about people are so target on when you meet them. It's like you know right away if this is somebody that you can trust and somebody that's is being honest with you. All right. You also have this card called the burden, and it's reversed, which means this is about you letting go of burdens that shouldn't be yours. And what's interesting is while both Chris and Rainey were talking, the big thing I got from you is that you've already paid off the karma with the people that you have helped, that you've taken on their care, you've taken on their mental problems, you've owned them to try and help fix that for them. What it's saying now is that you're releasing that burden. And what's really interesting is you have the number 8 card repeating here. So this number 8 card is about how amazing you are connected with your career and what you do for work, that you're a natural talent with it. This number 8 card is falling in love with your work. So what it's saying here is that if you're still working, it might be time to shift into something where your natural skill set of intuition can step in and make you even more effective. Now, the card that is the biggest card in the deck is a card called completion right here. In traditional tarot, it's called the world. You know, if you've done any study at all on tarot, that the world is the best card in the deck. And you have it in the placement here that says the final puzzle piece of what you're going to do moving forward is being placed right at your third eye. And it means that your intuition is going to guide you to what you do to fill up your day. Even if you don't hold a traditional job, I see you having a job that actually aligns with your intuitive side, your intuitive vibration. And that when you do that, the burdens of these other people naturally fall away, because now you're filling your day up with a more global purpose of why you're here. The other thing I want to tell you is that sometimes the burden card comes up when somebody is supposed to be paying attention to their health exclusively. So, what I'd like you to do is make you a priority, especially for the next 8 weeks or till the end of August, because I've got this number 8 card repeating here. I want you to start taking care of yourself, which means it's time to let go of the burden of the weight of other people. Now, sometimes the weight of other people actually reflect in our own bodies.
Yeah.
And so what you're going to do is you're going to make a goal, and it's going to be a modest goal, that between now and the end of August, you're going to lose 10 pounds, just 10 pounds. And you can do that very easily by cutting out the sugar, by cutting out the carbohydrates, by cutting out too much alcohol, by you paying attention to what you're putting in your body. Because what I'm getting here is that part of your own healing energy is the idea that you're going to start feeding your body with the resources it needs to be vibrant. All right. So what I see here is that you step back from burdens or the weight that shouldn't be yours, and that you start concentrating on letting yourself free yourself of anything that is holding you back, weighing you down, and that it's about you being selfish enough to fill yourself up first with the kind of love and energy that you need to have, and not the burdens of other people. Does this all make sense to you?
Yes, everything is spot on. Every one of your guys's messages.
Well, you realize there's no such thing as an accident, okay?
Right.
So the fact that you reached out to us to be on the program, and we're so grateful that you have been a part of the program. Well, so now we're going to collaborate with all of us, because Rainey can't wait to talk over here. I can feel it. So I'm going to let Rainey jump in and throw in her next 5 cents.
So in the cards, you have 2 number 8s, and we're in an 8 year.
Yes, we are.
This is that endless loop that transcends any singular lifetime. This is a really pivotal time in your soul's ascension and journey. This is that fork in the road, not just in this lifetime, but for your soul. So I
Okay.
really, really want you to pay attention, because when I see the number 8, and because 11, we saw a lot of
Oh my God.
11s when
And
you
remember, the
came
program was
on.
1111 during the program.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. And we started 1101. I
Yeah.
really want you to start listening, because the angels are starting to communicate to you through numerology. So maybe maybe Chris can expand on your abilities. I think you have a higher level ability where you could communicate with the angels, and they're all free will.
Right.
They're just standing there going, why won't Tammy give us a call? We're waiting. So it's all free will. Can you expand? Do
I
you see
can.
that?
So there is a placement in her chart. It's actually at the top of her grand trine, that beautiful formation. So the placement of it is very karmic, and it's until you work through that karmic energy, it can be very restrictive. It could feel it's almost like you have this authority figure on your shoulder that is telling you don't do it or you can't do it. And it's placed in your ninth house of spirituality, of like your belief system. So when I see this is usually someone who had religion or certain religion like forced on them. And there's some kind of block there. And so, but for her, it's connected at the top of this beautiful grand trine, which means it's a self-imposed restriction. So as soon as you open yourself up and you decide that you're going to open yourself up to be receptive to messages, then it pours down into it hits her Pluto being able to see like right through someone.
Yeah.
And it goes down into her soul's purpose for this lifetime. And so a couple other things I do want to touch on too. Mona mentioned your work. I think in the next, your birthday is coming up here in the next couple months. Your solar return is your personal horoscope from one birthday to the next. So within the next year, you're going to probably have some new work, and it's going to feel very aligned with what you want to do. Like you're going to feel like it's purposeful for you, which being a Virgo, like you have to have purpose. Like you have to feel helpful, like what you're doing, it helps and makes a difference. And so the other thing too, I want to touch on what Mona said about she feels like you've already worked through this karmic lesson. 100% I agree with you, because the whole purpose of this the solar eclipses, and as they fall in your first and seventh house, these are bringing things to a head, and events are happening that are going to make you start realizing I don't think that person's good for you or good for me, or they don't no longer serve me.
Right.
And so what that is, it's making way for you to release things that are holding you back. Like there's karmic people, karmic bonds that are holding you back. And so once you go through this transit, which would be in about a year, a little less than a year, once you're fully out of it, you're going to feel this relief. And at the same time, you have this place or this transit that's transiting your sixth house of not only work, but it also rules your health. And so during this transit, it could feel very restrictive. But once you're towards the end of this, you're going to find new ways to take care of yourself, because as a Virgo, you tend to not take care of yourself. And it manifests in usually like nervous energy and stomach issues. And so you have to take care of yourself and release these, negative energies and or people that are draining you.
Yeah.
And so you're really on the verge of this. So you're going to feel like a new person with this time next year. You're going to feel like a new Tammy.
Okay, Tammy, I got to ask you, what do you do for work?
I currently don't work.
Okay.
But I am very interested in learning tarot cards and have been doing a lot of reading and research. I also recently bought a book, Angels, Numbers, and how they speak to us.
Oh, the numbers. That's
my
what you
gosh,
touched
she's
into.
so
Yeah.
aligned.
Girl, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
So when I
Right?
said this is so on point, it was just that final push to tell me this is the direction that I should be going in.
Okay, and I agree with that. I want to throw in one thing. If for any reason you find that you need to draw some money to you, all right, I think you would be amazing in human resources. So if money is fine, you don't need to worry about money, then I see you taking a total leap into doing intuitive work. I have no question with that. If you also need to make money, then I would suggest it doesn't matter what position you get in human resources, but any position connected to human resources where you're acting as a catalyst for people to get a job, I think you'd be phenomenal at that. So it
Okay.
may be something to think about, and that might even be something you could work from home once you learn how to be a recruiter. So now you can be a recruiter working for a company, but also then pursue your intuitive ability. Now, here's the thing. There's no such thing as competition when it comes to being an intuitive, because the right people will find you. And if you just remember that, okay, all you have to do is remember that. Nobody does what you do the way you do it. The people that are meant to find you will find you. All you have to do is respond. So I have no doubt at all that that will probably be a career that you end up working until you can't, years and years and years from now. But if there's any kind of worry about money, I'm gonna point you in the direction of getting hired at any position in human resources, because you're so good at putting the people on the right seat of the bus. You're a Virgo. You like to organize things. You can create teams. And sorry, Rainey is dying to say something, so I'm gonna let her jump
No.
back.
She's
I
okay.
am.
Oh,
Okay, well, I'll go last.
okay.
I'm sorry.
No, go.
So I wanted to touch
No,
on that
you,
because
you.
No, you. There's
See,
just so much information
Yeah,
coming through.
I know.
it really is. With you being a Libra rising, you are a natural mediator. So talking about HR, and she said any position, it could even be where you help with conflict management, because you can see all sides to a situation. You have that ability to just cut right down to the root of it. And so
Right.
you would be an excellent caseworker or conflict
Employee advocate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we love that for you. Okay. So what were you going to say, Rainey?
So when you were talking about the authority figure on your shoulder, immediately as you said that, I know it's ego. And when I say ego, people are like, wait, ego. But ego is also like a sentient being, just like Mother Earth, just like angels. And so there's a good spot for when ego, for example, coming on the show, we have to have a little bit of ego to be able to go out there and be fearless.
Right.
And that's when ego is wonderful. But then there's ego that stops us in our tracks. So I'm also a spiritual educator. I want you to name your ego. My
Okay.
ego's name is Bob, sometimes Robert, sometimes people have called him Dick.
Richard.
Yeah. Yes. So I tell Bob when I know, and I ask Spirit to help me recognize when ego is keeping me from my highest and greatest good. I will say, Bob, you need to go in the closet right now. Thank you for your help, but not now, not today.
Yeah.
We're not going to do that right now.
Right.
So name your ego and put them in the closet. And another thing, you were talking about business. Girl, our woo-woo world needs you, and I think you'd be great at making certain essential oil sprays, especially like a sage cedar spray, because not always can we whip out our sage and our Palo Santo and clear the
Right.
trees. Yeah, a spray works wonderful. I think that would be a wonderful little side gig, and I would
Right.
be very spiritual about it.
You could help her make a website for that.
I was just going to tell her I would do that for you for nothing, but I also
Wow.
want to send me an email, hello@rainyday.com, RAINEY. I also want to sit with you via Zoom, and I'm going to teach you in about an hour how to start your tarot path intuitively. Put down the book.
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
agreeing to put down the book.
So I'd be
Yeah.
happy to do that with you. I think it's fun and pay it forward. And I know that you will be that person to pay it forward. So
Right.
God
And
bless
I
you.
want to jump on that
Please do.
because I am self-taught. I
Okay.
taught myself how to read tarot. I started out with the Rider-Waite deck. I would look through that little book, and then I finally said, this book is annoying the crap out of me. So instead, what I would do is and this is the fastest way to learn tarot, is you take one card a day and you carry that card around with you, and every impression of that card, you submit it to memory, right? And you always have that definition connected to that card. That's how you learn tarot.
Okay.
It's the easiest way to do it. The thing is that it's supposed to help us focus on our intuitive ability. So if the tarot is the way you focus, great. Tea leaf readings, great. Numerology, great. Astrology, great. Or sitting like Rainey and having the spirits hit her upside the head and tell her crap. So I'm just telling you, it's everybody finds their way. You'll
Right.
find your way. It's just try to do it your way, because
Okay.
it's nobody does what you do the way you do it, and that's the secret to your success.
And I don't want you to get discouraged by
Right.
memorizing.
Oh,
But
no.
when you memorize the author's book, sometimes it's good form of reference, but it's really their interpretation.
Yes.
And you're putting your intuition aside
Right.
when it should be in the forefront. And never fear, because you are not wrong.
I want to add to that because so I've been studying tarot for. I got my first deck when I was probably about 12 or 13. So I played with it for a few years and put it down, but I could never tell the story. I could never pull it all together. And Mona actually helped me with that. She told me, choose the card and what it means to you.
Right.
And that was the key to unlocking, pulling it all together.
Right.
And and what's really cool too is every time I see a card, a new reading, like sometimes a new, still to this day, like still new meanings come up. So thank you, Mona, for
Oh,
that.
you're welcome. It's
Because
like-
that's using your downloads,
Right.
your
Well,
intuition.
So we had a caller recently that her mom had passed, and Rainey kept seeing flowers and hummingbirds and all of these little signs that mom was around her, telling her it was going to be okay. Well, then she sent us artwork after the program of the fact that her mother was quite the artist and would paint pictures of vases with flowers on them. And then she sent
wow.
us a video right after of hummingbirds coming to her patio. So I'm just saying that don't doubt or second guess what's coming to you, because that is coming from the spirit for you. So
And I have to ask you, ladies, I know this is going a little long. I apologize.
that's okay. We don't care. It's our program.
But don't be afraid, even if they don't resonate. Maybe down the road they're going to be like, "Oh, now I know what Mona said," or "Now I understand what Chris said," or "Now I know who that name is that Raina
Right.
said."
Right.
So just don't be tied to the outcome, because maybe they're a little resistant at that moment.
Well, okay, so now you're making me want to say
Go for
something
it.
else, so that we're doing one of our longer programs just because you're acting as a catalyst for us here, Tammy. But
Okay.
but one of the things that both Chris and Rainey tapped on is that little ego sitting on the shoulder. That can be guilt, that can be judgment, that can be a filter for you that you're going to just knock right off your shoulder, because as soon as you're brave enough to zoom past that, everything happens. Now, here's the other thing about that little ego critic is that I'm the first person to admit that I'm not always right. I am not always right. But I'm telling you, readings are a picture of the moment. So whatever moment that we happen to be in with you, we feel very strongly that that's the moment we're supposed to talk to you about. Now, sometimes we're talking to someone that's calling into the program that is so strong spiritually that their spirit or that little ego doesn't want you to hear what we're trying to tell you, because maybe our wording isn't exactly right, or maybe there's something we're saying that's not resonating to you. But like these two just said, it could be down the road. So that obviously the message was meant for you. And it might even be a year from now when someone comes back to a broadcast and goes, holy crap, that's what they meant. So
Right.
there you go. Tammy, you've been fabulous. Thank you so much for tuning in. All right,
Thank
you guys.
you, ladies.
All right, you guys. I mean, we go over because we get all excited about our callers. So,
And we're helping people.
well,
If
that's
it
why
takes
we're
a little
here.
bit longer, that's what we're
Now
going to
is
do.
all that matters.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's why we're here. So, all right, you guys, stay tuned for the next episode. We look forward to talking with you again soon. And remember, go to 3.Vegas, www.three.vegas, and submit your question to be on the, sorry, not your question, submit your information to be on the program. We'd be delighted to have you. Thank you so much for tuning in.
God bless.